Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we'll check in with Ames Electric Services. My guest today is Ames Electric Services Director Don Kom. Don, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Well, as usual, there's a lot on electric's plate right now. One of the biggest things that we've been hearing about is future electric production here at the Ames Power Plant.
Yes, for several years now we've been looking at the changes in what the Environmental Protection Agency is doing, and we've been looking at the fundamental changes in the price and availability of natural gas, and we wanted to take a look at how we should be planning our future generation.
So this is a big national issue, basically looking at the sources of fuel for power plants across the country, concern for carbon input, and a way to perhaps reduce emissions.
Correct. What we're basically looking at, and I want to emphasize today, that today we meet or exceed all of the federal guidelines in terms of all of the environmental needs with our plants today. However, going forward, there are several proposed rules that will impact how we operate in the future.
Well, one of the things that's unique to Ames, and I'm sure you've considered it in your future planning, is the fact that at our power plant, we supplement the coal with RDF.
Correct. Refuse-derived fuel, RDF, is a good way that we found to, rather than landfill our garbage, we convert it to a fuel. That which can be recycled is recycled, and that which can be burned is used to reduce the amount of coal that we burn in our power plant.
By as much as 10%?
Oh, at least 10%. It's closer to right now about 13%, yes.
So all the garbage in the Story County area is taken then to the resource recovery plant, which has been successful since 1975.
It's been going on for quite a few years, yes.
Now, I'm assuming that the RDF then is factored into when you look at what is the future plan for the power plant. RDF would continue to be a fuel?
Yes, it would, at least for the foreseeable future. The study that has been undertaken is basically looking at three basic options. One would, and I should back up and say that we have two coal-fired power plants that sit at the end of Main Street. With those units, we've looked at basically three options. A retirement option, continue to burn coal but add additional equipment that would meet the new guidelines, or convert the fuel source to those plants to natural gas. And with two plants and three different options, you can see that there's quite a few different combinations of scenarios that could be looked at. In essence, the report basically came out with either convert to coal, or, stay on coal, put in that equipment, or convert to natural gas. With that, you can then also look at it from a standpoint of, do you continue to burn refuse-derived fuel, or if there's an alternative, can you stop that, and how would that affect the choices? For our study going forward, as of right now, we would continue to burn RDF for the foreseeable future, and right now, staff's recommendation went to our governing board, an advisory board called URAB. We've presented that to them, and then we also then presented that to the City Council back on the 15th of October. Our recommendation at that time then was we believe that to meet the future guidelines, the more prudent approach would be to convert both units to natural gas operation. With that decision, we can still burn refuse-derived fuel, but at a reduced rate.
So just to explore these options in greater detail and to gather community input, I understand you have some public forums scheduled.
Absolutely. Council gave that project, if you will, back to URAB, and we've scheduled a couple of public meetings where we would like input from Ames residents, because this will impact them. There's one meeting set up for the 28th of October, and that'll be at 7 p.m., located in the City of Ames City Council chambers. There's a second meeting set up for the next Wednesday, which would be the 30th. That starts at 3 o'clock, and that'll be over at the Sheeman Building.
Now, both of those will go through all the scenarios, sort of a pro-con list on each of those options of converting to natural gas, staying on coal with modifications.
That is correct.
Both looking at continuing that RDF component.
That is correct, yes.
And then I understand that then that input will all be analyzed and researched, and you'll be back to the council on November 12th?
That is our goal. The timelines that we're trying to meet, the new rules, the one that we're looking at very closely it's called the MATS rule. And this is a mercury and air toxic standard rule. For us to meet those guidelines, we have to have whatever we're going to do in place by April of 2016. Seems like a long way away, but there's a lot of planning, a lot of engineering, and a lot of construction in any case that would happen. If we go the gas route, we would be looking at a major gas line expansion in the area to bring enough gas here. If we stay on coal, there is quite a bit of equipment that would need to be installed at the plant.
So obviously some major decisions that need to be made. It seems like a long time frame, but in reality, you have a lot of big decisions to be making.
Yes.
And the results will have impact for years on the Ames consumers.
Whichever decision is finally chosen, there'll be large capital investments that'll be needed on either side, and we will be setting the course of the future for probably the next 20 to 30 years as to how we produce energy, the cost of that energy, and where we will be getting our electricity from. So I would encourage all of the listeners to come out and make their thoughts and ideas known.
Now, people have strong opinions on coal. They also have strong opinions on natural gas. Most people are in agreement that wind and solar are great options. Why couldn't we just look at those?
Well, there are two components when you're looking at your energy supply. There's the electricity itself. So when you turn on your light switch, you want that energy available at a moment's notice. There's also a requirement within the utility industry to meet the capacity obligations. In other words, you have to have that capability to surge to that level, whether there are air conditioners running or even if there are other units down. Wind is a good component to providing some of your energy needs. It's not very reliable when it comes to being available during peak summer days, because typically the wind isn't blowing. So it's a good component, but you cannot serve all of your load based on wind or based on solar right now.
So do you see that renewables play a role in sort of an energy portfolio?
Absolutely. Today, the City of Ames portfolio does include, we have 36 megawatts of wind that is under contract. That produces about 16% of our energy that we use on a yearly basis. We have started into solar. We've got several residential and commercial programs, commercial projects that have been started. We offer rebates through our Smart Energy program for those types of things. Are they to the scale where they can replace coal, natural gas, and other forms of base load generation? No, but they can be a good addition.
So you continue to basically encourage businesses and residents to look at those options?
Yes.
So energy needs, electric needs going forward, it looks like they're just going to continue to go up. Is that correct?
People continue to use electricity. Ames is growing. We're adding new businesses, new homes. So our demand is going up. Our requirements to meet those needs are going up. We do offer several programs under Primetime Power where we can control air conditioners and things like that really help us to shave our peak. And then the other smart energy, and I can see it's smart energy there, the other smart energy programs allow us to try to delay hitting new peaks. And why that's important is as we continue to grow, we have to plan for that next generator. And when you build that next generator, it typically will create increases in rates. So if we can push that off 2 or 3 or 4 more years, it provides large benefits in keeping our costs lower.
Well, energy production obviously is going to be a part of everybody's things that they need to be aware of in the future. It's not going away. No. It sounds like there's a lot of big issues going on in your field right now and an opportunity for education. Could you just give us those dates and times again for that public forum?
I sure can. Our first public meeting is going to be on the 28th of October, 7 p.m., City Council chambers. we'll be presenting what those options are, and then we definitely need feedback in from the public. The second one is Wednesday, starting at 3 o'clock, and that'll be held over at the Sheeman Building.
Great, Don. Thanks for stopping in and telling us about those.
Thank you.
Well, if you're getting ready for Halloween this year, remember that the recommended hours for trick-or-treating are 5:30 to 7:30, and trick-or-treating will be held on Thursday, October 31st in Ames. Also, if you still have yard waste around and missed that first yard waste free day, you have another chance. On Saturday, November 2nd, the next yard waste free day will be held. It'll be 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and there's more information on our website. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.